so much, everybody. Happy New Year. You guys are our family, you're our friends. I'm super excited to share with you some interesting conversations today. I am going to share my screen. And Nelu, I have actually the PowerPoint on my desktop. So I'm going to be sharing. Give me 1 second. Got a million things on my desktop too, guys. So give me 1 minute here. All right. Let me get on presentation mode. And okay, so as you all know, we're starting a new year. Last year was, you know, a change for everybody. It was actually a big change in the world. A lot of us got impacted, our families, our jobs, you know, the whole global economy. But we're starting a new year. And what we want to talk about today, I want to have a different conversation. It's a personal conversation and it's about you, okay? And it's about the agility in your life. Now, I'm a life learner. Even before Agile, I was coined as a life learner, always trying to learn new things, always trying to improve and get better, right? And then I learned Agile and I was like, wow, there are things that I have applied in my professional life that I've also applied in my personal life. So today the conversation is a personal conversation about you. And I would like to start with this video. Give me a second here, guys. All right, hopefully this will come up.
Thank you very much. I am particularly proud and happy about the young filmmakers, actors, singers, writers, producers that are coming up behind my generation. In particular, Barry Jenkins. Young people understand this young man made 10, 15, 20 short films before he got the opportunity to make Moonlight. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, P. Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship, okay? What do you guys think about that? I want to make this a little bit interactive. What does ease mean? What does the word ease mean? When you hear that word, how do you describe the word ease?
It sounds like calm to me.
Mm-hmm. Comfort. Ease is comfort. Status
and convenience.
Ease sounds like there's no challenge. It's
No
too
challenge.
easy. You're not challenged. And usually if you're not challenged, you don't grow. There is no progress.
Exactly.
Ease is, you know, quadrant 1 of the Knesset framework. You just do it. You don't learn. You don't grow. You're not challenged. You don't fail. It's too easy to fail. If you don't fail, generally you don't learn.
I love that. But Bob, I'm comfortable where I'm at, right? I'm comfortable. Isn't that
Yeah,
good?
I've been taken out of my comfort zone a couple times last year. But I did grow. It wasn't easy, mind you, but I did grow.
I think I heard somebody else as well. Who was that?
I'd like to say that, I know sometimes when we're troubleshooting problems, it seems really hard. But once you kind of get to the other side and you figured out what it was and you came up with the solution, it's like it gives you confidence, right? It's like, okay, if you were able to solve that difficult problem, you have more confidence to tackle another one. Plus, you remember the hard paths you had to go down to figure it out, right?
Exactly. And if we only knew this 20, 30 years ago when we were younger, right? Wouldn't that have made things a whole lot better for us? Many, many years now to where we're at today, like I'm thankful for the hardship because that's made me who I am today. So I love this. I just wanted to share this with you guys to kind of start the conversation. It is a personal conversation today. So, hopefully we can reflect and retrospect a bit. So welcome. We're going to talk about what motivates you. Okay. It's about you. My favorite word that I learned, again, I know I'm mentioning Marcelo a lot. Sorry, guys, but VUCA. Like the first time I heard Marcelo talk about VUCA, I'm like, what is he talking about? What new word did Marcelo invent now? But we're going to talk about the world that we live in, which is a VUCA world. And, I thought 2021 was going to be a whole lot easier than 2020, but it sort of did not start out that way either, right? Then we're going to talk about something called personal agility. I do want to state that there is actually a Personal Agility Institute for anybody that wants to Google that, take a look at it. You know that in these conversations, in these meetups, we share a lot of information that is public, that it's out there. It's nothing that we've coined ourselves. I actually put the logo out there for you. Guess what? I just found out this week, which I didn't know, that there's actually a personal agility certification out there, right? And from my research, it's a bunch of Agilists who have passion about Agile that have incorporated agility into a way of life. And we're all already doing that, especially from all the conversations that we have every Wednesday and every Saturday for all of you that join us. You're already doing that. But we're going to dive a little deeper into that today. But by the way, I'm putting that there. I'm also going to put the link in the chat if you guys want to take a look at it. What I'm doing today is that I grabbed a little bit of here and a little bit of there and sort of came up with like my own interpretation of this. So it's very personal. I'm just sharing some best practices and techniques. You guys take what you like. You don't have to take what you don't like. So I just wanted to make that little disclaimer out there. It's about mindset. We're going to talk about mindset. It's all about mindset, right? Whether it's our professional life or whether it's our personal life. Then we'll look at agility values. And then some really cool tips and tricks and techniques and tools that I found out there that I just want to share with all of you today. I am going to put some stuff on that you guys can actually download. So I am going to ask that you guys have a paper and pencil or pen with you. We are going to do some exercises together, but I'd love for you to walk away with some personal notes that you can actually, reflect on after. All right, sounds good? Okay, so we're going to do a quick exercise. I want you to close your eyes, okay? Take a moment to think about a situation or time in your life where you felt very proud, very excited, where you were very, very happy. A time in your life, any time in your life, when you were a kid, when you were younger, yesterday, this morning, just a moment in time where you were somewhere in a situation. Think about how you felt. You were very proud, very excited, very happy. Who were you with? What did the space look like? What did the space smell like? And what were the sounds? And how did you feel in that moment? And just be in that moment and be in that feeling. A happy moment, a happy memory. Just be in that moment and be in that feeling. Just take 1 minute and be in that feeling. And feel it, like if you were there, like if you were reliving it. All right, now open your eyes. Open for a minute and think about if you were approached each day with that feeling that you just felt, whatever that situation was that made you feel positive, that made you feel good, how would you behave differently? How would you enter that day? How would you enter into whatever situation you're going into, the day or a conversation, or you're going into a new situation with that feeling? If you did that exercise when going into an unknown new space, would that help you? If you were to wake up in the morning and try to remember that feeling of that time and space, how would you feel? Okay, I see some stuff in the chat here. Somebody said good. What else? Ooh, I like it. Invincible. Wow. I'd like to know where you were when you felt invincible. Somebody said wonderful. Powerful. Open to any possibility. Excited. Giddy. Ready to go. Fulfilled. Thank you guys for writing these in the chat. I appreciate that. And ready to take on the world. All right. Remember this exercise. Remember, as coaches, everything that we do with teams, that we do in an open space, it's also for you to take with you, either to do on your own or even to do it with a group or your teams and folks that you want to share this with. Okay. But hold on to that feeling at least for the next hour or so. You promise? All right. Thumbs up. Do I see thumbs up? All right, I see a couple of thumbs up. Excellent. Okay, with that said, I'm going to ask you this next question. And I'm going to ask Neilu to please put the Jamboard link on the chat. And I'm going to ask you what inspires you. So remember, these stickies in Jamboard are anonymous, okay? Just write down what inspires you. If you also have a piece of paper next to you and you want to take your own personal notes, please go ahead and do so. But I'm going to go ahead and ask Neilu to please put the link on the chat. And you're going to go to, Neilu, which Jamboard number is it? I think it's the first one.
Jamboard number 1. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Number 1. And just write down what inspires you, what motivates you. Anything. It could be personable, it could be professional. It's about you. It's about who you are as a person. What inspires you, what motivates you. If you guys can put it in the Jamboard, that'd be awesome. Did everybody get access to the Jamboard?
So please let me know or put it in the chat if you had any issues logging in or editing or putting on the sticky, please.
Okay, so here, I'm gonna ask for some volunteers. Again, this is very personal. Feel free to take down your personal notes and your piece of paper with a pen. Thank you for sharing. But for those of you who are not shy, if you would like to share a little bit about what inspires you, I'd love to hear it. Who wants to share?
I will, Regina.
Thank you, Veronica.
So for me, I am motivated and inspired by my personal core values. I had a conversation with Rick the other day about this topic. And when you really answer the question and figure out if you were to have 5 years to live, what really matters to you, you start to get real and honest about those motivations and what will truly inspire you when you are moving towards your true values. And so I put one of them on the sticky note there. I put the freedom and adventure, family and friends are my core values. And anything that I do centers around that. And so I'm always motivated by the actions that I do, knowing if I stay true to that. Another thing is I know I am at cause for everything that I do and how I believe in my abilities as a person. And so I know that if I am able to center myself, the universe will listen.
I love it. I'm actually going to record you. Thank
I
you.
have lots of that stuff, but that's because I did a lot of change work.
Awesome, awesome. So have I. So I'm like listening to you and absorbing you like a sponge. I appreciate that. Thank you. The most impactful question that you asked was, oh my God, if you knew you had 5 years to live, how would you live your life? Right? And we don't always think about that. And as you know, we live in a VUCA world. You never know what's going to happen the next day, right? But thank you so much. You mentioned your friends, you mentioned your family. That's wonderful. All right, anybody else wants to share? Got a lot of great answers here. I know you guys are not shy.
I can share. I'm Sanchia. I'm new here. I'm a guest of Andreas.
Welcome, welcome, Sanchia.
Thank you, everybody. So for me, I'm mostly inspired by my desire for continuous development. Like I always want to be my best self. So I wouldn't say I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I would always want to see stuff done properly, the right way. Also, family is also a big inspiration for me. And yeah, and I'm always thinking about myself in the future. I'm always thinking, so it's 2021 now. My thought process is what I do now is actually going to determine my life in 5 years. So I'm always thinking of the future and my future self and how is this going to benefit Sanchia 5 years from now. So that's what drives me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sanchia. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you. Let's see. Got one more person, one more volunteer. What inspires you? What motivates you?
I would have to say it depends on the paradigm I'm working in. I would say some of the times it's the Holy Spirit that inspires me because I can't be creative on my own. I know I don't have it within myself. The answers I am given are not from me because I can't come up with those answers. Some problems are the community problems we have, the divisive problems we have. I can't come up with the total solution now, but I can go to the Holy Spirit and ask for inspiration on what I can do to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem.
I love it. Thank you, Bob. And just for you all to know, today is a more personal conversation. We're asking more personal questions. So I appreciate you guys giving us your candid answers because we are who we are, right? And we're not just professionals. There's also a huge part in our personal life and everything that we've gone through who makes us who we are, and it impacts every single area of our lives. So thank you, Bob. I appreciate you sharing that. All right. So this is a great exercise just for reflection. Take down your personal notes. Anything that you guys want to write and take away with you from this exercise, please do so. Then I come back here to my presentation. Does anybody recognize this young lady in the picture?
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the
Amanda Gorman.
Yes. Not gonna have a political conversation, but this inspired me today. Listening to this young girl do the poem that she actually wrote herself for the country, for all Americans, was very inspiring. And so that's why I chose to put her picture here. I think she looks very young, but she's actually around 23 years old, but she looks a lot younger than that. But it's inspiring that I put a post on LinkedIn with her picture saying our future looks bright, right? Because that's the youth of America. So that was a great example. But I did want to share with you guys my motivation, my personal motivation. This is my mom. And so this is who I am, right? And I wanted to share a little bit of my story. And so she has been my motivation throughout my entire life. I'm Cuban American. I was born here in the States, but my family came from Cuba in the 60s. I don't know if a lot of you know about the history with Cuba, but you know, our families who came from Cuba in that time frame lost everything they had. They lost their businesses, they lost their jobs, everything that they had worked for an entire century had been taken away from them, unfortunately, and they had to flee their country. And so my grandfather was born in Spain, got to Cuba in 1910, married my grandmother in 1922. They had their kids in Cuba and everything. At the time that my mom came to the US, she was in her late 30s. She had a PhD. She was a professor in Cuba. My grandparents lost everything, and my mom had to come to the US in her late 30s and start from scratch without knowing the language, right? And so I was born here, 2 kids, then got divorced, 3 jobs, you name it, you know, the whole story. It's very similar stories to other immigrants that have come to this country. It's not that different. But I grew up knowing that I could never say I can't do this or I can't do that, because she did it with a lot more hardship and a lot more obstacles than I had. And so we were told growing up, we came to this country so our kids can have the freedom, so that you guys could grow up and not have to go through what we went through, and have the freedom and the choices, right? To live the life, whatever type of life you wanted to live. So that was very meaningful for me. It's the most hardworking person that I've ever known in my life. Went through a lot of hardship. And a little bit more of a story. Oh my goodness, many, many years later, she had a stroke at the age of 72. Had brain surgery, 3 blood clots, was in a coma for a month. After that, her life was never the same. But took a whole year after that stroke to learn how to walk and talk and have movement again. And she never gave up. Never, never, never gave up. She lasted 15 years after that. Her life was never the same, but she never gave up, never, never gave up. So she's my motivation. She's my inspiration. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Awesome. So we live in a VUCA world. VUCA, what does VUCA stand for? It's a world full of vitality, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, right? Turbulence demands that we adjust, that we shift, that we pivot. And so we can't be stagnant. We always have to have a mindset of change, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And as many of you know, that based on the decisions that we make, it's the outcomes that we have, right? So what happens when how good do you take care of yourself? What do you do to re-energize yourself? I'm going to ask you guys that question. There's many of us that are always taking care of others, right? And even going back to your profession, many of you are project managers, you're scrum masters, many of you are leaders, you take great care of your teams, right? And then you go home and you take great care of your family, and you're always taking care of others. But when do you take care of yourself? Imagine you're like a well, right? And then you're pouring water into that well, and then there's water always coming out of that well. Well, when your well is dried up, what do? How do you re-energize yourself? So I'm going to ask that question. What different things do you guys do to re-energize yourself, to take care of yourself? And this conversation today is about you. So I'm asking you that question. I know we're always talking about everybody else, but what do you do to re-energize yourself? Let's see. I'm going to pick on somebody. I'm going to pick on Godwin. Godwin there. How do you re-energize yourself, Godwin?
I kind of just go back to the old thing that I know, just go back to what I know. Family is good. I talk and I try as much as possible. I play a lot of Scrabble when when my head is full. So I can just pick it up and just play just to ease myself and just to get back to that strength, because especially in the world where, just like you say, and then we can go out, you can't do anything. Unlike before, you could actually go out, when you feel like you're down. But now everybody's in here, so you have to kind of go back to what you know. And so that's always what I do, just going back to what I know.
So thank you, but you brought up a great point, because this past year, we couldn't do the normal things that we would always do to either socialize or work out or make ourselves feel better, not even to go to church. I mean, everything was like closed up. So thank you. I want you guys to write it down on the piece of paper that you have next to you. Like, just write down that question. You can go back and reflect on it. But another thing too is, when our well is dried up, how often do you share or acknowledge your own strengths, attributes, or accomplishment, or the impact that you've made? How often do you say out loud, wow, I accomplished this, or I did this? How often do you speak to that? Think about that. Maybe I'm not asking the question the right way, but the first time that I had this question asked to me, it didn't come natural to me. I'm always saying something great about others, but to say, oh, I'm great, or I did this, just in my nature, and everybody's different, didn't come natural to me. Now, there are statistics out there that say that women don't often, talk about their accomplishments, and that men actually statistically do that more. Now, I'm not going to have the gender conversation, because even though there are statistics out there that I've read when I was doing my research to put this together, I know of many of my friends, both men and women, that also have a problem saying, look, I'm good at this, or, I accomplished this, right? So we're going to do an exercise, and I'm guilty of this. We're going to say the statement. We're going to say, I'm extraordinary because, okay? And we're going to go out back into the Jamboard, and I want you to write it down. And it's about you. And it's anything, because you know how to juggle, because of anything that you want to put. But I actually want you to take the moment and write down in a sticky, I am extraordinary because. And just so that you know, the first time that I had to do an exercise like this, it didn't feel natural to me, right? And for those of you that it comes naturally, then more kudos to you. I want to hear from you, because we can learn a lot from you as well. All right, I'm going to start reading a couple of these just for the sake of time. I am extraordinary because I am resilient. I am extraordinary because I listen to my heart. I am extraordinary because I am tenacious. I am extraordinary because I know the answers are within. I am extraordinary because I'm a quick thinker. I am extraordinary because I can take a lot before giving up. I am extraordinary because God made me that way. I am extraordinary because there is no one like me. I am extraordinary because I can synthesize things into a song. Wow. I'm extraordinary because I am tenacious. I'm extraordinary because I find the silver lining in most situations that occur on my life journey. I am extraordinary because I know where I'm going. I am extraordinary because I know I'm flawed. I'm extraordinary because I know the answers are within. Let's see, because I am peaceful. I'm extraordinary because my dictionary does not have the word can't. Oh, I like that. I'm extraordinary because I live my life as simple as I can. I love it. And I'm extraordinary because I'm me. All right, guys, I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. Again, this is about you, okay? Now, an exercise of homework for you guys to take with you. That piece of paper and that pen that you have next to you, do this exercise on your own after this meetup when you guys get a chance, and come up with a big list, okay? This is a good exercise to actually do every so often. All right, let me go back to sharing. Okay, so why personal agility? Let's talk about this. I love this quote that I found by Alvin Toffler. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So personal agility is essentially about your dynamic capability and how to respond to situations in a timely, innovative, and sustainable way when you need to, being open-minded, exploring different approaches to help you navigate in this VUCA world. So guys, for many of us that work for companies, right? You're always delivering products and services to your customers. You are your best product and service. So with that focus and that mindset and that resilience, where you're doing your professional job every day, you need to treat yourself the same way and look at your life from the same perspective, just like you do at work every day when you're delivering those products and services or helping teams do the same. Would you not say that you are your best product and service? You got to look at yourself as that from that perspective. So Bill Gates, success today requires the agility and drive to constantly rethink, reinvigorate, react, and reinvent. So what do you do with the products that you sell to your clients, right? You're always looking at the ROI. You're always looking at MVP, trying to figure out the best value. If you were to look at yourself from that perspective at all the different areas of your life and look at, how can I be agile throughout my life? What would that look like? Just like when you meet with your teams, you can ask yourself the same question. How can you make better use of your time? What is important and urgent to you? What do you want to achieve? In whatever time frame you're asking yourself that question, or also, what do you want to do today? But I like the first one. What is important and urgent to you? Are you constantly asking yourself that question? What is the most important thing for you right now? So if you were your own product and service and you were decomposing yourself and prioritizing yourself, what would be your personal MVP? And how would you decompose the deliverables of your life, right? Of your development, of whatever areas of growth you want to do, and have your own personal MVP. Think about that. That's where we now start going into the agile practices that we can also invigorate in our own life. So, adopt a growth mindset, embracing change, inspect and adapt. We always have to retrospect. I love number 4, become your own celebration coach. Do that exercise that we just did about how extraordinary you are. Celebrate success every day, no matter how small. Even if it's just like, oh my God, I got up today, I went for a walk around the block. And then prioritize. How are you prioritizing the things that are the most important in your life that are actually going to help your self-development? Or do you have too much whip? Just like our teams do. As you help your teams lighten the load, are you also applying that to your personal work in progress? And then are you looking at your growth and the things you want to learn also in increments? Think about that. And I know that many of you are already doing this, so I know this is language that you guys already use every day. It's about the mindset. Remember, we always ask, what is Agile? So coaches, every time somebody says, what is Agile? What's our answer?
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset, right? So now the conversation is about, how's your mindset doing? How is your mindset today? What day is it today? January, oh my God.
20th.
January 20, 2021. Oh, those look like great numbers that I should play in the lotto. January 20, 2021. How is your mindset today? That's the question. All right, so I got this video here. Let me see if I can play it. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Because we're so busy, we're keeping
Can you hear it?
Yes, we can hear it.
All right.
up with the Joneses. We never think about the transit. We just think about the destination, you know? And I think when we take into account that it's not just about when we get there, but it's about all the people that are on this journey with us. Because I do think it's life. It's like, think about so much of our life is based on, all right, I'm going to graduate college. I'm going to get a good job just so I have security, so I get to retirement. When I get to retirement, I'll be able to take all the vacations that I want. And it's like all of these goals we set rather than mindsets. So it's not about a goal. It's about your mindset. And I think goals are great. Mindsets are more important. When I have the mindset that everyone matters, that I want to treat them that way, that I'll love every person I come in contact with, and I'll make their day brighter, that's more important than one goal, one day of being able to retire at age X.
Right.
So while I think goals are important, and I've said a lot of them in my life, I think the mindset is way more important.
All right, what do you guys think about Tim Tebow? What do you think about that? How would you apply that thought process to your personal life? So how's your mindset doing today? Okay, it's a reflective question. Write it down on a piece of paper. Maybe it's something that you guys think about after, and ask yourself that question. How is my mindset doing today? So personal agility. You guys in Agile, we're familiar with the Agile values, the Agile manifesto. It has 4 values and 12 principles. I found some great information out there that I pulled together, and I wanted to share this with you. So these are examples of the Agile values translated a little bit more into our personal agility. This is a mix of a couple of different examples that I found out there. I kind of chose the ones that I liked the most. So you guys might have seen this in other places, but let's talk about this. So you and your relations over routine and inertia or process and rules. Who wants to talk about that one? What do you think that means? If you were to look at this, like we always read the Agile manifesto and the Agile values, and do it more as a personal example, you and your relations over routines and inertia or process and rules. Who wants to tackle that one?
Yeah, now it seems more difficult to focus on our relations because we are remote, we're distant, instead of, we're social beings, and it's difficult to socialize this way. So then I tend to fall back on my routines. I'm very routine oriented, and I do things on a regular basis, and that leads to inertia. And I also fall back on processes and rules, and I need to focus more on my relations. And it is, for me, it's more difficult because of our social distancing.
Okay, so apply this to your relations with your teams, at work, your relationship with your kids, with your parents, with your spouse, right? Because routine and inertia applies to many things, right? Marcelo, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to back up Bob and say agility begins at home.
I love that. Can you write that? Can you draw that in a different color, please? I like that.
Okay.
I want you to write that one down.
No,
Agility,
you will do it.
agility begins at home. Exactly. Exactly. All right. The second one, visible results over rhetoric and rituals and documented desires. Who wants to tackle that one?
I know what comes to mind. What comes to mind is like sometimes you think about, you know, quote, red tape or you know, a lot of overhead of things in an organization. Tend to think about that versus, okay, here we can really accomplish these things. Let's actually get these things done on the.
I love it. To actually show progress, right?
Yeah.
Versus talking about it, right?
Right.
Love it. All right, the third one, openness and collaboration over stubbornness and transactional relations or contract and protocols. Who wants to tackle that one?
I have a comment there. I don't mean to keep responding, but I think that some of that depends on a level of trust that you develop with the group you're in, right? You know, I know in a previous group we had an Agile group, and we grew to trust each other more and more, and that contributed a lot to the openness, where you could say, well, you know, I think I did a good job in this, but I didn't quite make that. Where you could have the comfort level to do that really helped a lot, because then other people started to open up too, and then you started to make real progress because you could think about how to help each other.
I love it. And so think about the partnerships in your family, your relationship in your family as well, right? You know, those are also what we could call partnerships. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Sure. And sometimes you have to use those even with your kids, because most things we do with them are transactional sometimes, even though we tend to try not to make it look like that, because sometimes you have to bribe them to do chores, you have to, you know, you have to try. And then sometimes you bring the stubbornness in there so as to be open to tell them that, okay, I don't have to bribe you all the time to do this, because there'll be a time when I won't be there bribing you. So it's basically about the same thing, to kind of transcends.
I love it. That's a good example. I think, Rick, are you going to say something?
Yeah, when I hear the word transactional, I think it's just the word, what's in it for me, comes to mind real quick. Like, how many times do you have a conversation and you're just like, I want to get to this point, that's why I'm having this conversation, rather than just enjoying and listening and understand that, you know, we're all here together, and not have expectations. So that transactional mode, it's a very humbling way to try to, you know, live your life where you're just open to collaborate, and there isn't no, you know, external motive that you're trying to maneuver or figure out. But it's hard. It's hard.
Thank you. So the next one, responding to change over following a plan. All right, guys, I know at work we're always trying to follow some sort of plan, and at least now we're agile, so we know how to shift and pivot. But in our personal lives, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I've had these plans, and I don't even know the percentage of time that my plan has always like shifted and pivoted automatically. It's just been like things have turned out very differently than what I originally thought that they were gonna be, right? It's just life. It's just life. But what I've learned with having agility in my professional life, and what I've learned with my lessons learned throughout my personal life, is that journey, we need to enjoy that journey. We need to enjoy that journey and welcome obstacles and welcome the change in the corner and the things that are unexpected, because that's what helps us grow. And how we react to that is what defines who we are, right? How we react to those challenges, how we react to, you know, people challenges, situation challenges, financial challenges, all of that is how we react. is what defines who we are. Okay, so that's my take on that one. The last one, this one I actually found out there, and I brought it into this because I thought that was really important. Self-belief over following a known path. Who wants to tackle that one? Thought this one was interesting.
Oh, I love this subject. We are our own thoughts. And I always say projection, right? Perception is projection. And we do a lot of self-talking. And that could impact our ability to really enjoy life as it is. And when we look at the other side of following a known path, I was guilty, especially when you are a high achiever, very driven and motivated. You tend to be in that mode, and it can create a lot of different things that could impact you in your life. So when we talk about self-belief, it's very compounding, where all those things that you might be telling yourself that might inhibit you to doing something that could be wonderful. It could be things that you are reacting to that could be wonderful. So everything that I can attach to that, when I started really being self-aware of what the stories in my head were happening, it's opened a whole world for me. Even relationships that, family could be, family is family. You're going to love them no matter who they are, right? And I've had more profound relationship with my mother in the last 2 months by taking a different perspective of how I approach the situation, because I changed the way I was thinking in my head. And so that changed the way I reacted. And it's amazing. And you can apply this to anything. And I'm happier as a person because of it.
I love it. I always say we are our thoughts, right? We are our thoughts, right? We are also what we say in both of those things. So
you will manifest it, right? Your subconscious listens to you. I mean, I'll get all geeky. There's actually science around that. And we tend to work off of our conscious, right? That's what sits and what we see right now. But our subconscious, that is what really is driving those reactions, right? We have billions of bits of information that come in our head, and then it kind of processes in our little computer up there and tells us how we want to distort that information in any way. And then we react to it, which you see consciously. And it is so profound by even our language. When I took that newer leadership, and not to get all, down that rabbit hole, is I never really understood until I really got into it further and further and further of what you say to people, even yourself. I am fat. Oh my God. I like this. And when you actually tell yourself that, you're telling your subconscious, which then your brain actually can believe it, and believe it or not, could impact your weight. What if you actually told yourself that you were strong? What would actually manifest? Remember, we're made out of energy, and our mind is very powerful, and we have to start thinking about that.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Veronica. Okay, I also found these 12 principles that are an outtake of our Agile Manifesto principles, our 12, but just kind of rephrased a different way, on a more personal agility way. So we can do a couple of different things with these guys, and I also want to be a little cognizant of time. Usually when I'm coaching Agile teams, we actually break out into multiple breakout rooms, and then everybody sort of translates each of these in your own words. Just gonna look at Rick real quick. Rick, do you think we would have time for that, or do we just kind of leave everybody here and kind of rephrase it?
Depends on how much other activities you're going to have, Regina, with these stuff.
This is the last exercise. Let me do it. I'm sort of testing myself, trying that question here. Let's just look at them together, and we'll leave everybody here in the main room. I had breakout rooms creative, but I just want to be cognizant of time because I have some other great things I want to share with you guys. Okay, so everybody's familiar with the Agile Manifesto 12 principles, right? And so who wants, let's do it this way. Let's have some volunteers to read each one, and then let's have a quick conversation. How does that sound? Sounds good? Okay. Let's see, Rick, if you can look around the room to see who's out there.
You want me to pick on people? Yes.
Yeah. You probably have a better view of the gallery than I do because I'm presenting. So
let's pick on Ray. Let's pick on Ray. Ray first.
Let's see, Ray. Ray, you want to read the first one?
Okay, I'll read the first one. It says your highest priority is to care continuously for yourself and deliver to you and others. I guess my thoughts on that are it's important to be able to help others. In other words, I think we all know we need exercise and try to do that sort of thing to be healthy, and also be mentally prepared to help others. That would be my initial thoughts on that.
Okay. I mean, it is a personal conversation. This is about you. We normally, believe me, our conversation is always about helping others. And that's our number one priority. So some of these things are a little awkward to talk about, believe it or not. It doesn't, like for somebody like me, it doesn't always come natural. But I had somebody tell me once, oh, if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of you, right? If I'm not healthy, I can't have enough strength to take care of you. So it's about that. It's about checking on yourself. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you, filling up your well every single day? So so that one's the first one. Who wants to do the second one? Let's see, Rick.
I see Saba really energized for this. I could see her eyes opening up for some reason. Go ahead, Saba. Number 2, you're muted.
That is so not true. But anyways, thank you. Okay, so welcome change even when you have stability and comfort. What I take out of it is don't get stuck in that ease stage. And life is constantly changing. Life is constantly going to challenge you, and it's going to throw things at you. And if you don't actually embrace whatever challenge comes your way and change and pivot and deal with it, you're not going to grow. You're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be stuck and unhappy.
Thank you. And this is one where no matter how old we are, guys, and sometimes the older we get, that you would think that you would welcome less change is when we actually have to challenge ourselves more and say, no, I got to get out of my comfort zone. Okay. No, even now that I'm older, I sort of got to force myself to get out of my comfort zone even more because the natural tendency is not to sometimes, right? Because we've gotten to that comfort zone. But awesome. Thank you. Rick, who's next?
I think Sanchia, you there? You want to unmute yourself?
I am, yeah.
I know how excited you are. I can see how excited you are for number 3 for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm with Saba. I didn't know how you saw that either. I'm teasing. Okay, so I'm number 3, right?
Yes.
Break your milestones down so you can see your progress more easily and frequently. For me, I actually just was writing down some goals. Like, should I go for daily goals or weekly goals? It's always good. I don't know if any of you have ever done the SMART goals. For me, I think of SMART goals, whereas you have to be specific, you manage time, all the different areas of it. So for me, I think it's good if you have, let's say most persons want to lose weight. So let's just say you have a weight loss goal of about 10 pounds. So to lose 10 pounds may seem easy for someone, but for you, it may be, okay, so I need to say, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds within 3 months. But for the first month, I'm going to aim for 5. And then the second month, I'm going to aim for maybe 7. And just break it down by that. And then, yeah, go from there.
Thank you. So incremental success, right? Break things down, just like we do at work, guys. It's the same thing for our personal life, right? And then the how often you want to break it down, that's really up to you, right? What makes sense to you? How do you work? How do you visualize the things that you're doing? Is it easier for you to see things on a daily basis? Is it easier for you to accomplish things on a weekly basis? That really depends on you. Treating yourself as the product, right? Treating yourself as the product. All right, number 4. Oh, Rick, you're on mute. You're on mute.
People turn off their video thinking that I'm not going to pick on them, but that doesn't work. So Karen, do you think you can get number 4, or did she just disappear right now? As soon as I said Karen, did she hang up? Oh my God, I'm scaring people away.
Uh-oh.
Matt, you there? I'm trying to pick on people that have their videos turned off. Wow, they're killing me here. Karen, you there? Karen or Matt? Who's going to be the first one to unmute themselves? Oh, we're going to be here waiting. Somebody send them somebody call them. Call them on their phone.
How about are they on?
I don't know if they're on. There you go. Karen, you're muted, Karen. You're muted. You're still muted. I know you're saying, Rick, you're awesome. I can tell. That's what you said.
Oh, yeah, I did say, Rick, you were awesome.
Oh, you didn't say that. I must have misunderstood.
No, I had to take my doggy out. So I had to walk out for a few minutes.
Not a problem. So you see the board?
Yeah, I see the board. I see the board.
I
Yeah.
think we're on number 5, right? We're number 5? Yes?
Number 4.
Number four.
Sorry, number 4. Read number 4.
Engage with peers, your community of practice, and new networks to gain new approaches and view. So in this case, I would extend my network and I would try to meet new people and see if I can make new friends in my community and then advance my network. So that's all I can say. I wasn't paying much attention when you guys were talking because I wasn't there. I apologize.
No, you did a great job. You did a great job, Karen. That's awesome. So engage, get out, meet people. And I know right now, believe it or not, it's COVID. I have met more people online than in person in 2019.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. There are so many people out there who are just waiting.
And now there's like no boundaries because we're online. But gain new approaches, learn new things. That's number 4. Number 5, I'm going to call on Andrea. Andrea, are you there?
I am here. Number 5, engage projects with motivation, self-confidence, and self-efficacy. That's what I do on a daily basis. Whatever project I'm working on, I'm always motivated and excited to get it going, to set up my step-by-step task and how I'm going to achieve these goals. And I'm very confident that I'm going to change them. But I was hoping I would have gotten number 3 because my issue is when I set my milestones, I always have big pictures, like the big goal. And my issue is sometimes just getting them into smaller increments. And like Rick would always tell me, try for the MVPs, celebrate the small wins. Mm-hmm. So that's my challenge, but I always am very motivated and confident to take on any projects. And I'm always looking at opportunities to learn. So that's me right there.
Awesome. So I've got more notes on that question in some of the upcoming slides. So I'm gonna tag that one. Awesome. All right, number 6. And we're gonna move a little quicker now. Let's see, Joanne.
Walter
or Joanne.
Great choice, Rick. Number 6 says, care about your communication style with others. So a long time ago, long time ago, I had the opportunity to work with an older, seasoned individual who told me, he says, Walt, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And that's always stuck with me. And that's what I immediately thought of when I read number 6. Good choice.
I love it. And somebody write that down in the chat, please. Please quote Walter on the chat. That's a real good one, Walter. Thank you for sharing that. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Boy, that is true in all your relationship conversations too. Even at home. Even at home. That's a good one. All right, Joanne, you got number 7.
Number 7, measure your measure your progress through result on what truly matters to you. Sometimes I believe we could have so many stuff that we have planned and it's not really a priority. And then sometimes we get disappointed when we don't get them accomplished. So I feel like we should prioritize and measure things that really matter to us so we could properly measure our progress of things that's really matter to us, that's really a priority.
I love it. And it's about you. So there's things we have to do, but then to continuously ask yourself, what's the most important thing for me, right? There's the things we have to do, but then what are the things that are going to help me? And this is, again, your own personal list there. All right, number 8, who do we have? Now I'm just, Alfredo. Alfredo, how are you, Alfredo?
Good. How you doing? I like 10, but that's all right. I'll take it.
No, you know what?
10
Read 10. We'll go back to it after. They're not in any particular order. We're good.
Oh, you mean I can go into 10?
Yes, sir.
That's okay?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. I love it because then you're welcoming change even when you have stability and comfort.
We're agile. We're agile. Yes.
That's right. I love it. So that was actually 2 was really good for me too from a personal standpoint, but I'll go with simplicity because I think sometimes in order for you to define what you're going to do, you have to really define what you're not going to do. So by saying no, you're actually prioritizing and valuing the things that really matter to you. So sometimes saying no is equally as important as saying yes. And it keeps the focus on what really matters to you in your life and your journey.
Guys, are we good at saying no? Are we good at saying no? And we're talking about our personal life. Are we good at saying no?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Okay, that's good. That's good. Some of us need to practice a little bit more. All right, so
We got to practice that.
You gotta practice that. These are little challenges. And it's all about going back to what really matters to you, right? All right, where were we? I got lost. Number 8? Let's see. Rick, who's the next person?
How about John? John, he's been eager. John, I see you. Unmute yourself. Come on. That's it. Just be unmute. Oh my God. Okay.
You talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you, John.
Sorry, I've just joined, but I like Walter's comment. So before I do next one, it's also how you leave people feeling after you say something.
I like that.
Right? It's the psychological safety, the emotional intelligence around that as well.
Love it, John.
So I'm just adding a little note in the thing. So what do you want me to do?
So if you want to read number 9, I think we jumped. So number 9 or number 11?
Seek excellence and be open to overview how you design your journey and success. Yeah, I seek out mentors and other people at all levels. In fact, I really appreciate what we call coaching circles. We coach each other in a circle. And people come to me for advice, which I quite like. But by giving that advice, I actually learn about their situation. So I learn through their situation. I don't know, or I don't believe in experts, by the way. So I'm talking about Kaizen basically here, continuous improvement.
I love it.
Okay.
So now we just learned from you. So thank you for sharing with us, because I just learned from you as well. Thank you.
All right, let's get Godwin in there. I know he needs attention.
So we got 11 and 12. We got 11 and 12.
Whichever you want.
Self-organize yourself. Don't let others organize your life for you. Yeah, absolutely. I think it kind of speaks to me, especially when you allow people, especially in teams where we are, you allow people to be the one dictating how you want to shadow your life or how you want to follow your life path and what are your dreams, your aspirations, and other. It just tells you to put yourself in the driver's seat. Don't allow another person to be the driver.
Right. And again, this is personal. So having accountability for your life, right? And number 12, let's see, Rick number 12.
Reflect constantly on how to improve, adapt, and become your best.
Yes.
I think I reflect every night. Every night I'm looking to improve. Every night I look for ways to make small tweaks in my life. So I think I do too much of that. I think I also need to kind of calm down a little bit and just take smaller steps than what I take. But
So
absolutely.
the great thing we've learned about being agilists is like we retrospect all the time. So why not do that also in our personal life, right? And it's okay to fail because that's how we learn, right? And I want to fail fast because that's how I learn faster, right? It's that whole cycle. Okay, so we are going to be sending this in a PDF. Again, this one in particular is a mix of a couple of different things that I found out there. It's like a potpourri, of a couple of the items. This I also found out there doing some research. And we just did this exercise. For the last couple of minutes, I wanted to share with you some tools. Again, this is all online. I picked some of my favorite ones that I wanted to share with you. Neilu is going to put one on the chat. Neilu, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you could treat personal agility just like a framework, right? Always setting a vision in your goals. You guys just talked about that. You got to execute on that. You got to retrospect, review it, and then you gotta retrospect on it. And we're all used to the cycle because this is what we're used to because we're agilists, right? You set a goal in the vision, you execute your goals, you review your goals, and then you retrospect. So imagine everything that you guys do with the same cycle of inspect and adapt. And you're that product in the middle. This is what I'm going to put online on the chat. This is actually an example of a personal agility canvas that I found out there. I actually tweaked it a little bit, but it's got some great questions. It's an exercise, again, that you can all take with you and do sometime this year if you're interested, to talk about your internal purpose. What is your internal purpose? Why you do what you do? What is your passion? What are your values? From there, then you can move into, how do you impact the world around you? What are the different things that you're doing to impact? Then what is your vision? What is your vision? Then what problems are you trying to solve, right? And then your external purpose, and then your goals. And then what is the mindset that you need to have to achieve your goals? There's a ton of canvases out there, guys, very similar to this one, that are great to help us get organized. This will help you maybe look at yourself and look at what's important, and look at your brand as an individual, whether it's personal or professional, and sort of put some sort of order to the goals that you personally want to achieve. There's these examples, right? Having a personal agreement with yourself. Do you have success metrics? What are your own communication goals, your purposes? What are your different roles and responsibilities? This is another great approach to it. Because if you were a user story, what would be your different goals, right? As a father, as a mother, as a daughter, as a manager, as a leader, you have multiple different roles in your life. So if you were to organize your life from the professional development, health, financials, family relationships, if you had a vision for yourself as a brand, and you had different epics in your life, right? Based on these different roles, what would be your multiple deliverables? Again, in your health, financials, spirituality, relationships, professional. That's some sort of like the breakdowns, that you can actually use to do some of these exercises. How many of you use Kanban? Even before, from a long time ago, I discovered Trello, and I was using Trello Kanban board for my day-to-day activities. This is a great tool. It's free. There's a ton of them. But for personal lives, I know a lot of you have mentioned that you even have Kanban boards for your kids. It's a great tool. It's easy. It's simple. It could help you sort of identify the things that you either want to complete on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or even more long-term. These are just some samples. How do you prioritize, guys? So some examples here, the Eisenhower Matrix, right? Things that are important and urgent, important but not urgent, non-important, that you need to delegate, eliminate, plan, and do. This is some examples of prioritization. Moscow, a lot of you know Moscow, must have, should have, could have, will not have. Do the same thing when you're trying to identify the things that are the most urgent in your life or your MVPs. These are just some fun prioritization techniques that are out there that we use for Agile teams that we can use for ourselves. Some nice templates on priority mapping, and also how to, something called a breadcrumb trail, how to identify the things that are done on a weekly basis. These, we're going to send out the PDF. You guys can look these up and you can download them. There's something called your frogs. Oh my goodness. If it's your job to eat a frog, the best to do it is in the morning. And then what do you call frogs? The biggest things first, things you don't want to do but actually need to do, things you want to do and actually need to do, things you want to do but actually don't need to do, and things you don't want to do and actually don't need to do. So there's some fun things out there for you guys to think about. Then what are your drivers? What are your critical triggers and drivers, right? There's the driving triggers, and then there's the restricting forces. So fear, pessimism, stress, unclear commitment, lack of collaboration. These are also things that you guys can, on your own time, write down. Hey, what are the things that drive me? And then what are the things that are my roadblocks? And then go through that retrospective. I liked this one. And some of you today talked about, hey, what happens when you have those negative thoughts, right? When you tackle mindful and effectively unhelpful negative thoughts, what do you do with them? So this is called the apple. You acknowledge, you pause, you pull back, you let go, and then you explore again. So I thought this was kind of cute. It's all about garbage in, garbage out, guys. You are your thoughts, and we have to be very self-aware. I know you guys have taken a lot of leadership classes about self-awareness. Be self-aware with yourself and how you're feeling and the things that we think about. This is interesting. How many of you have heard of the Pomodoro Technique? So I found this for the first time. I had not seen this before, John. So I thought it was interesting. So it's very simple. You repeat this process 4 times throughout the day. You decide what you need to complete. You set the timer for 25 minutes. You work on your task until the timer rings, and then you take a 5-minute break. 25 minutes are over, and then you do it all over again 4 times. And then the 5th time, take a longer break for 15 to 30 minutes. So for those of you that multitask a lot, that you need to help yourselves get organized, give this a try. You can Google it. Pomodoro Technique is out there. I thought it was interesting. And then it's all about reflection, okay? About being, doing, connecting, and learning. Write down your thoughts, write down how you feel, reflect all the time. Like Rick says, you know, he retrospects every day. It's important that we take the time to do that, whichever way you feel comfortable doing. And then make time, just make time for yourself to be in a space of innovation and relaxation, time for your thoughts, whatever you need to do to help yourself feel better and to plan. And so my personal agility topic for today.
Wow.
It's a little different. I know we normally don't get this personal, but you know what? It's the start of a new year. There's a lot going on, and you got to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. I hope you guys found this helpful. I'm here for you. I'm on LinkedIn. If you guys have any questions, we are going to send out the PDF. Everything is out there on the internet. You guys can look it up if you want to download any of those great canvases. And so I'm here to serve you, and thank you so much for your time.
So team, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to turn on your cameras. I want to take a quick snapshot so that we can post it on LinkedIn and we can thank Regina for a great job. So please turn on those cameras, turn on those cameras, turn on those cameras, turn on those cameras.
Bill is not allowed to turn his camera on, please.
All right. How you looking, Godwin? I don't know. I think you got a hair out of place there, Godwin. Like that a little bit. Fix that up.
Joanne, you're good.
All right. Nelu, are you ready, young lady? Is she there? Nelu, do you have that video thing you can do, or do you want me just to take a
Yeah,
snap?
I can do that.
You sure?
You can start moving around and I can, you
Yeah, I
know.
want to do the moving around thing. All right. What was the other one that they did? Something like that or something?
Oh my God, yeah.
Maybe as soon as you say go, everyone go to your right and then come back and give them a shout out to Regina or something.
Okay.
Say, okay? So as soon as she says go, everyone's going to go to the right.
Which right, Rick?
Your other left.
Okay.
Which right?
Oh my God, which right? Now we're in trouble.
Your right, not this right.
The other
Your
left.
personal right.
The other right.
There you go, your personal right.
Okay, let us know. And Luna, let's do
Okay.
this right, because this is going to be a hit. We're
Okay.
gonna get like 1,000 likes. All right.
Right, ready? 2, 1. Come on, guys. That's the other right.
They're gonna think we're drunk. It's like, ah.
Drunk.
Did you get us? Did you get
I
much
got
free
it.
beer.
I got it all.
I don't know, Nelu. I hope you
Hey,
got
Lou,
it.
are you as dizzy as I am?
Oh my God, I was totally dizzy. Yeah.
We're doing this. All right. So the idea is she's copying that. She's putting it in the post. Hopefully she can do that quick enough. And that takes a while for her to download. So please, Nelu, let me know. So we do this. Now we have some other speakers that are going to be coming up soon. I know, Veronica, you're scheduled also to speak soon, right? We're trying to schedule something. Did we actually put a date together?
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
And I love the topic, and I'm glad you pinged me and tagged me on LinkedIn to give me the nudge, whoever did that. If you guys like this topic and really thinking about how we approach things so we can really move forward, what holds us back, I have a couple of things to kind of share with all of you that you guys can have a takeaway about that. And it's not just all the fluffy stuff. I'll share some science behind it. So it is some pragmatic thinking along with, you know, that mindset. I had a problem, I'm going to be honest, where I was like, oh my gosh, guru, like hippie, you know, kind of thinking. And and you know, it was like, oh God, is that the only way to think about it? But no, I'm a science major. I was a science teacher, and I got into the science of it. And so we can explore that. So those of you that are very highly analytical, we're going to be able to connect the dots about why this happens in your brain and how we can move forward to start making progress of what are the things that our self-talk is doing to prevent us to be really successful in everything that we want to do.